going on, guys? It's your boy the Markham Knight here. Today's video is going to be the last Justice League featurette. This one is going to be about Batman. I'm really excited to jump in here and kind of see his role a little bit in this Justice League movie. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and then I'm going to talk about it a little more, okay? Let's jump right in here. Same intro they usually have. Batman featuring. Yeah.
I heard about you.
Oh, that was cool.
I think you were real. I'm real when it's useful.
It's really exciting to bring Batman back to the big screen.
I'm putting together a team, people with special abilities.
Stop right there. I'm in.
Spider-Man line.
I totally had a fan freak out moment. I cannot believe I'm standing next to Batman.
Everybody loves Batman.
The first time understands
Ooh, that was
you
cool.
can't
That
do
was a
this
cool
by
look.
yourself.
Well, this is the days when one's biggest concerns were exploding wind-up penguins.
A simple life.
Penguin reference.
In the new movie Justice League, we see the evolution of a new Batman.
It's cool to watch him fighting
He's moved on
parademons.
From lone vigilante to recruiter and leader.
The sweet chin music
We get to
parademons.
enjoy the adventures of this group as they save the world.
What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
He's got jokes now.
I don't recognize this world. I don't have to recognize it. We just have to save it.
I need to bring us together.
I think that's it. Okay, cool. So, as you can see, that was the last featurette. I've done reactions to all the other Justice League characters. They're not going to do one for Superman because realistically, they're trying to pretend like Superman's still dead. So they're obviously not going to do a featurette based on him, maybe after the movie's out or something like that. But definitely very cool to see this last Batman one. This is obviously a very different Batman than the one we saw in the Batman vs. Superman movie. In the Batman vs. Superman movie, it was a very somber Batman, a Batman who's kind of given up. Also a Batman who's kind of trying to prove something, not only maybe to himself, but to the world, that his life kind of meant something. And he feels like by just taking down criminals over and over, they basically repopulate. You can never really end crime in the world. So trying to take down Superman was his way of trying to save humanity from itself, because they kind of were idolizing Superman, a lot of people were, and he saw Superman as a potential threat. Obviously, he doesn't feel that way anymore. In Superman's honor, he tries to get the Justice League together to be able to stop the new coming threat. This is all based off the dream he had where the Flash came to him. That was kind of like a little bit of a Flashpoint reference where you see the Flash come back and trying to get a message through to Batman. It was really cool in Batman vs. Superman to see that scene, but definitely he goes based off that dream. He wants to get the Justice League together, and he does, as we see here. So this is going to lead to the big confrontation against Darkseid's forces, which is going to be probably Steppenwolf leading the charge. You do see Batman kicking some parademon butt in here, which is really, really cool. But you don't see too much. We don't know what Batman's role exactly is beyond getting the League together. He might be the team leader. I don't know if it's going to be him or Superman as the team leader, but he might be the team leader at least in this movie because he's going to be the guy getting it together, and Superman's not really going to be in the movie until maybe the second or third act. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of that dynamic. But definitely nice to see a different version of Batman, not the crazy Dark Knight Returns killing one where he was just raging psychopath who's kind of beyond his time. He was the Dark Knight. He was the Frank Miller Dark Knight Batman to that extreme, and I don't really like that Batman, to be completely honest with you. That's one that's old and out of his ways, and definitely not the no-kill Batman that we've always, well, not always, but we've come to know and love. That's the one that we most associate with Batman, him having that no-killing rule, and it seems like maybe he's going to pick that up again. Not sure if he is, but as of Ben Affleck in Comic-Con, I was in the Hall H panel, he said himself that he'd be more than excited to do a movie for Matt Reeves. He did confirm he would be in that movie. He didn't confirm that he'd be in the movie beyond that. He didn't say he'd be in the cinematic universe beyond that, but he did say he would be in the Matt Reeves movie and he'd be honored to be in the Matt Reeves movie. So we do know he's going to be there for that one. Beyond that, we're not sure. If they're really going to replace Ben Affleck, which I don't think he's gotten a fair shake yet because he hasn't really gotten to show too much as Batman. We only saw him in Batman vs. Superman, and that was a little misguided because it was kind of forced, a little too fast, too much going on too quickly. But I'd like to see what he does in the Matt Reeves movie. I personally want to see an Arkham Asylum movie based on Grant Morrison, his book that was Arkham Asylum, that the video game was based on, where Batman's stuck in Arkham Asylum and the Joker's freed all the inmates and he basically has to save his own butt. So I'd really like to see that one adapted. That one's a good old Batman story. They could also do an Under the Red Hood type story, or like a Death in the Family type story. It'd be interesting to see some of that come alive. And if they don't go any of those paths, there are a lot of old Batman stories they can tell. But even more so, if they do want to replace Ben Affleck, I feel like they can replace him with someone who's younger, maybe in his early to mid 30s, and they can kind of tell young Batman stories. And then we can kind of see how Batman became Batman. And the best way to do that is Flashpoint. Because in Flashpoint, the universe resets itself, but there are subtle changes that nobody really notices. And Batman getting younger could be one of them. Another one could be changing Jesse Eisenberg or Jared Leto or whatever they want to do. They can make some tiny tweaks here and there. So if you can't negotiate on contracts, or if Ben Affleck's just kind of not in the mood right now because he's dealing with his situation with his ex-wife or whatever, or his current wife, I don't know what his situation is anymore, then you could definitely go ahead and switch him out with someone younger. It doesn't matter who it is. Could be Jake Gyllenhaal. That's someone who I've always liked. But it could be anybody. It's just someone younger to kind of do the younger Batman roles, so that Batman's not already in his mid 40s, hitting 50s, so he's not like Tony Stark where he's kind of just like about to finish up, because we're going to see a 60-year-old Tony Stark soon as Iron Man, and I don't know how hyped I am to see that. It's a good thing that he's just in a suit and not doing anything too much more than that, because physically I don't think he's there, and I don't think he's going to be there once he starts hitting 60 soon. But definitely very interesting to see this take on Batman in the Justice League versus what it was in Batman versus Superman. You do see he does have jokes here, and I'm excited to see him to finally have jokes, but they're not like openly lame forced jokes that you sometimes see in some movies. They're jokes that basically come naturally and come or develop organically within the commentary. Kind of like when he says, "Oh, you must be really crazy, you're a guy dressed like a bat," and he's like, "Well, you're the one who brought a pitchfork to the party." Like, it's like, they're just naturally developed jokes and nothing too crazy, nothing too forced. And that's kind of what I want to take away from Justice League more than anything else. Things that come organically and not just be forced. Anyways, guys, that's my reaction to this Batman featurette. Tell me what you think. This is the Markham Knight telling you to like, comment, and subscribe.